Your soulmate is finally ready to tell you the truth they've hidden for years. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. If these words found you today, don't assume it happened by chance. Out of countless voices calling for your attention, something gently urged you to stop here. Maybe your heart has been carrying a question that refuses to disappear. Maybe you've spent countless nights wondering why someone who once felt so deeply connected to your soul suddenly became quiet. Maybe you've asked the universe over and over, if they truly cared, why did they never tell me what was really in their heart? Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The answer has been growing in silence for much longer than you realize. There are truths that people hide because they want to deceive someone, and then there are truths that remain hidden because fear convinces the heart it isn't strong enough to speak them aloud. Your soulmate has been carrying the second kind of truth. For years, they have replayed moments between the two of you in ways no one around them could ever imagine. To everyone else, life appeared to move forward. They smiled during conversations. They celebrated birthdays. They attended family gatherings. They focused on work, responsibilities, and everything life placed in front of them. Anyone watching from the outside would assume they had completely accepted the past. Even they tried convincing themselves that this story had already ended. Yet every quiet evening brought the same familiar feeling. Every time the world became silent, your memory quietly returned, not as something painful, but as something unfinished. That feeling became impossible to ignore because deep inside, they knew one truth had never been spoken. This message is for you. While your soulmate was learning how impossible it is to outrun an honest heart, you were learning something equally important. You were learning how to survive without the answers you believed you needed. Think about the person you were when this journey first began. Every unanswered message felt personal. Every day of silence felt like another reason to question yourself. You wondered whether you had somehow failed, whether you had loved too deeply, trusted too easily, or hoped for something that was never real. But healing quietly changed your perspective. Little by little, you stopped measuring your worth through another person's ability to express their emotions. You discovered that your kindness remained valuable even when someone else struggled to receive it. That lesson became one of the strongest foundations of your life. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has been preparing this moment through countless ordinary days. Nothing dramatic had to happen. No miracle had to suddenly appear in the sky. Instead, life patiently placed lessons before both of you. You learned self-respect. Your soulmate learned accountability. You learned that peace comes from within. They learned that silence often creates deeper wounds than honesty ever could. Every chapter, even the painful ones, quietly prepared two hearts for a level of understanding they simply did not possess before. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There is something your soulmate remembers almost every day, though they rarely admit it. It is not necessarily your final conversation. It is not the goodbye that still echoes in their mind. It is something much smaller. They remember the way you looked at them when they doubted themselves. They remember the calm in your voice when life felt uncertain. They remember feeling accepted without having to prove their worth. At the time, those moments seemed ordinary. Today they understand they were extraordinary. Emotional safety is one of the rarest gifts life offers, and only after losing it did they begin to recognize its true value. This message is for you. Perhaps you've noticed subtle changes in your own spirit lately. Maybe situations that once filled you with anxiety now invite quiet reflection instead. Maybe you've started seeing repeating numbers like 111 when new hope begins growing inside your heart, 222 during seasons that require patience, or 444 whenever reassurance seems to arrive at exactly the right moment. Whether you view those moments as spiritual signs or simply meaningful reminders, allow them to encourage your heart. Growth often happens long before visible change appears. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun asking questions they spent years avoiding. Why did I believe silence would protect me? Why was I so afraid to tell the truth? Why did I assume there would always be another opportunity? Those questions no longer fill them with defensiveness. They fill them with humility. For the first time, they are no longer searching for excuses. They are searching for honesty. They are beginning to understand that the truth they hid for so many years was never protecting either of you. It was only postponing the healing both hearts deserved. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly after another ordinary evening. Their phone rests beside them, but they are not distracted by notifications or conversations. Instead, they are lost in thought. They replay moments they once dismissed as insignificant. They remember your encouragement. They remember your patience. They remember the countless opportunities they had to tell you what was really happening inside their heart but chose silence instead. Suddenly, one realization becomes impossible to ignore. The truth they have been hiding has become heavier than the fear of speaking it. This message is for you. As all of this unfolds, never forget your own journey. Continue protecting the peace you've worked so hard to build. Continue honoring the boundaries that taught you self-respect. Continue believing that genuine love should be expressed through honesty, consistency, and meaningful action rather than assumptions or silence. The person you have become through every difficult chapter deserves relationships that feel safe, mutual, and authentic. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The truth your soulmate has hidden for years is no longer something they can quietly carry alone. Reflection has become gratitude. Gratitude has become courage. Courage is slowly replacing the fear that once controlled every important decision. The silence that defined so much of your story is beginning to lose its power. And as this chapter comes to a close, something remarkable is beginning. The heart that spent years hiding behind uncertainty is finally preparing to reveal what it has always wanted to say. In the next chapter, you'll discover why one ordinary moment is about to become the turning point that gives your soulmate the courage to speak the truth they believed they would carry to their grave. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The truth your soulmate has hidden for years is no longer resting quietly in the background of their life. It has become the first thought they wake up with and the last thought they carry before they close their eyes at night. They tried convincing themselves that enough time would eventually make those feelings disappear. They believed life would naturally pull them so far away from the past that remembering you would become impossible. Instead, something completely different happened. The farther they traveled through life, the more clearly they understood what your presence truly meant. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Time did not erase the truth. Time removed every distraction until the truth became impossible to ignore. For years, your soulmate carefully protected an image of strength. They believed showing emotion meant losing control. They believed admitting fear would make them appear weak. Whenever their heart urged them to speak honestly, another voice whispered that silence was safer. So they stayed quiet. They smiled when they wanted to explain. They changed the subject when conversations became too personal. They convinced themselves that hiding their emotions was the mature thing to do. Looking back now, they understand something that life has patiently taught them. Silence never protected their heart. It only protected their pride while quietly breaking something they never wanted to lose. This realization has followed them everywhere. It has become impossible to outrun because every meaningful experience continues leading them back to the same lesson. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been confronting these painful realizations, your own spirit has continued becoming stronger than you ever imagined possible. Think about how much has changed within you. There was a season when every unanswered question felt unbearable. You replayed conversations searching for hidden meanings. You blamed yourself for things that were never your responsibility. Yet healing slowly changed the conversation taking place inside your heart. You stopped asking why someone couldn't fully choose you, and you started asking how you could choose yourself every single day. That quiet decision transformed everything. It gave you a peace that no outside circumstance could ever take away. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has been teaching both of you through different roads leading toward the same destination. You were learning self-worth. Your soulmate was learning self-awareness. You were discovering that your light never depended on another person's recognition. They were discovering that genuine love requires honesty, not emotional hiding. Neither lesson arrived quickly because the deepest transformations always require time. Every difficult season has quietly been preparing two hearts for a greater understanding than either one possessed before. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun remembering the ordinary moments more vividly than the extraordinary ones. They remember the afternoons when the two of you laughed without trying to impress anyone. They remember the conversations that made difficult days feel lighter. They remember the way you listened without rushing to judge or fix every problem. At the time, they believed those moments would always be there. Today they understand that emotional safety is one of life's rarest treasures. It is easy to overlook while you have it, but impossible to forget once it is gone. This message is for you. Perhaps you've noticed something changing in your own intuition. Situations that once caused panic now invite reflection instead. Maybe you've been seeing repeating numbers like 111 whenever hope quietly returns, 222 while patience is being strengthened, or 444 whenever reassurance seems to arrive exactly when you need it most. Whether you see these moments as spiritual guidance or simply meaningful reminders, allow them to encourage your heart to remain open without abandoning the wisdom you've gained. Don't scroll. Because your heart needs this right now. There is one truth your soulmate has carried silently for longer than anyone realizes. They never truly stopped wondering what life might have looked like if they had been brave enough to tell you everything when they had the chance. That question follows them during quiet mornings. It returns during long drives home. It appears while watching sunsets that somehow feel incomplete. Every time they ask themselves that question, another realization quietly follows. The future they secretly hope for cannot be built upon another season of silence. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting alone after another ordinary evening. Their phone rests nearby. They think about your name. They think about everything left unsaid. They remember all the times they almost reached out but convinced themselves it wasn't the right moment. Suddenly they realize something that changes everything. They were never waiting for the perfect time. They were waiting to become brave enough. That realization lifts a burden they have carried for years because they finally understand that courage rarely arrives before action. It grows because someone decides the truth matters more than fear. This message is for you. Never forget the promises you made to yourself during your own healing journey. You promised to protect your peace. You promised never to confuse inconsistency with love again. You promised to believe your intuition even when your heart felt vulnerable. Keep those promises. They became the foundation of the person you are today. If your soulmate ever returns to your life, let them meet someone who has learned that healthy love is built through honesty, accountability, and mutual effort rather than beautiful intentions alone. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The truth your soulmate has hidden for years is no longer simply an emotion they carry inside. It is becoming a decision. Reflection has become humility. Humility has become gratitude. Gratitude is becoming courage. Every lesson life has placed before them has quietly prepared them for the conversation they once believed would never happen. They no longer wish to hide behind old fears. They no longer wish to pretend that silence created peace. They understand that genuine peace begins only when truth is finally spoken. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Continue trusting the journey that has shaped you into the person you are today. Continue walking confidently toward the future you are creating. Continue believing that every difficult chapter has strengthened your spirit instead of diminishing it. Because your soulmate is no longer running from the truth that has lived inside their heart for years. They are walking directly toward it. And in the next chapter, the words they have carried in silence for so long will begin pushing against every wall they built, preparing them for the moment when hidden feelings can no longer remain hidden, and the conversation they feared most becomes the conversation they need more than anything else. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The truth your soulmate has hidden for years has reached a place where it no longer feels like a secret. It feels like a weight. Every day they carry it, the burden grows heavier. Every morning they promise themselves they will stop thinking about it, and every evening they discover that the promise has quietly fallen apart. They have finally begun to understand something that once seemed impossible. The heart was never asking them to forget you. It was asking them to become honest with themselves. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Some truths are not hidden because they are shameful. They are hidden because they are powerful enough to change everything once they are spoken aloud. For years your soulmate believed they had successfully locked away every emotion connected to your story. They convinced themselves that the chapter had ended. They told themselves that people naturally grow apart, that life simply moves in different directions, and that looking back only creates unnecessary pain. Yet life has gently challenged every one of those beliefs. They have discovered that moving forward and pretending are not the same thing. They have discovered that distance and emotional closure are completely different experiences. Most of all, they have discovered that a person can spend years building a new life while still carrying one unfinished sentence inside their heart. That sentence has your name written all over it. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been wrestling with unfinished emotions, you have been quietly becoming someone stronger than you ever imagined possible. Think about how different your heart feels now compared to the beginning of this journey. There was a season when silence made you question everything. You wondered if you had imagined the connection. You questioned whether your love had ever mattered. You searched for hidden meanings in every memory because you desperately wanted one clear answer. But healing slowly changed those questions. Instead of asking whether you were enough, you began recognizing that your value had never depended on another person's ability to communicate. That realization became the beginning of your freedom. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has never wasted your pain. Every difficult chapter carried a lesson that quietly prepared you for the person you are becoming today. You learned that self-respect must remain even when answers do not arrive. You learned that genuine love should never require endless guessing. You learned that peace is something you protect rather than something you postpone while waiting for another person's courage. Those lessons have become part of your soul, and they will continue guiding every relationship that enters your future. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has started remembering moments that once seemed too ordinary to matter. They remember how naturally you celebrated their successes. They remember the evenings when simple conversations somehow made difficult days feel lighter. They remember how you noticed changes in their mood before they had spoken a single word. At the time, they accepted those moments without fully appreciating them. Looking back now, they understand that what they experienced was not ordinary kindness. It was the rare comfort of being deeply understood. That realization has become one of the greatest surprises of their life. This message is for you. Perhaps you have also noticed that your intuition has become calmer. You still hope for beautiful things, but you no longer allow hope to replace wisdom. Maybe you've continued noticing repeating numbers like 111 whenever a new chapter begins to unfold, 222 during moments when patience is strengthening your spirit, or 444 whenever reassurance quietly arrives exactly when you need it. Whether you see these moments as spiritual encouragement or simply meaningful reminders, allow them to guide you toward confidence instead of fear. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun asking themselves a question they avoided for years. If I had spoken honestly back then, how different would life look today? That question follows them everywhere. It appears while driving home after work. It returns during quiet evenings. It lingers when they watch other people choosing honesty instead of avoidance. At first, the question filled them with regret. Now it is creating something different. It is creating courage. They are beginning to understand that while yesterday cannot be rewritten, tomorrow is still waiting for the choices they make today. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly with their phone in their hand. They unlock the screen, then lock it again. They think about reaching out, then hesitate. They replay every reason they once used to stay silent. Maybe too much time has passed. Maybe they've moved on. Maybe my words no longer matter. But then another thought quietly rises above every fear. What if honesty still matters, even if I cannot control the outcome? That single thought changes everything because it shifts their focus away from fear and toward integrity. For the first time, they realize that telling the truth is not only about changing the future. It is about becoming the person they always wanted to be. This message is for you. Continue honoring the promises you made during your healing journey. Continue protecting the peace you worked so hard to create. Continue believing that any relationship worthy of your heart will be built on consistency, openness, respect, and shared effort. Never abandon those lessons simply because someone else begins learning theirs. Your growth remains one of the most valuable parts of this story. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The hidden truth inside your soulmate is no longer only an emotion. It has become a turning point. Every lesson has brought them closer to authenticity. Every memory has deepened their gratitude. Every season has reminded them that genuine connection deserves courage instead of silence. The fear that once controlled every decision is slowly losing its voice because truth has become stronger. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Keep trusting the path that has shaped you into the person you are today. Keep believing that every challenge strengthened your spirit rather than diminishing it. Because your soulmate is no longer hiding behind the years that have passed. They are preparing to step beyond them. Reflection has become acceptance. Acceptance has become determination. Determination is becoming action. And in the next chapter, the truth they have protected in silence for so long will move closer than ever to being spoken, opening the door to a conversation that has lived inside both of your hearts for far longer than either of you ever realized. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The truth your soulmate has carried in silence for years is no longer something they can simply hide behind another busy day or another passing season. It has become the quiet voice that follows them wherever they go. They hear it in the silence before sunrise. They hear it during long drives home when there is nothing left to distract them. They hear it while watching ordinary people share simple moments of kindness that somehow remind them of you. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. There comes a point when the soul becomes more exhausted from hiding the truth than it ever could from speaking it. Your soulmate has reached that point, even if no one around them realizes it. For years they believed they were protecting everyone by remaining silent. They convinced themselves that bringing the past back into the present would only create confusion. They told themselves that keeping their feelings hidden was an act of maturity. But life has slowly revealed something completely different. Silence does not always protect people. Sometimes it protects fear. Sometimes it protects pride. Sometimes it simply postpones conversations that the heart has been longing to have all along. Looking back now, your soulmate can clearly see the moments when they almost spoke honestly. They remember conversations where the words reached the edge of their lips but never escaped. They remember messages they typed and deleted. They remember opportunities that quietly slipped away because fear whispered, "Not today." Every one of those memories has become another reminder that truth cannot stay buried forever. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been confronting these memories, you have continued walking your own path with remarkable courage. There were days when you thought healing meant forgetting everything that happened. Today you understand something much deeper. Healing means carrying wisdom without carrying bitterness. It means remembering what shaped you without allowing it to control you. It means believing that your future deserves hope even if your past carried disappointment. Those lessons have transformed your heart. You no longer seek validation from silence. You no longer question your worth because another person struggled to express theirs. You have become someone who understands that genuine love should never require constant uncertainty. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has been quietly working through both of your journeys in ways that neither of you fully understood at the time. While you were learning how to choose yourself again, your soulmate was learning what happens when someone spends too long ignoring the voice of their own heart. While you discovered peace, they discovered accountability. While you learned to trust your intuition, they learned that avoiding vulnerability creates a loneliness that no success, achievement, or distraction can truly fill. These lessons were never meant to punish either of you. They were preparing two hearts for greater emotional wisdom. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has started noticing that every meaningful lesson somehow reminds them of you. They hear someone speak about forgiveness, and they remember your compassion. They witness someone encouraging another person, and they remember the way you always believed in them before they believed in themselves. They see couples laughing together over ordinary things and suddenly remember that the happiest moments with you were never the extravagant ones. They were the quiet evenings, the unexpected laughter, the conversations that lasted far longer than either of you planned because being together simply felt easy. Those memories no longer bring only sadness. They bring clarity. This message is for you. Perhaps you've noticed that your own spirit has become quieter. Not empty, but peaceful. You no longer chase every answer because you trust yourself more than you once did. Maybe you've continued noticing repeating numbers like 111 when new hope begins growing inside you, 222 during moments that call for patience, or 444 whenever reassurance arrives exactly when you need it. Whether you see those moments as spiritual encouragement or meaningful coincidences, allow them to remind you that growth often happens long before life visibly changes. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. There is one realization your soulmate can no longer escape. They finally understand that the truth they have hidden all these years was never only about telling you how they felt. It was also about admitting something to themselves. They loved more deeply than they allowed anyone to see. They cared more than their actions revealed. They feared losing you so much that they unknowingly created the very distance they hoped to avoid. That realization has humbled them in ways they never expected. Instead of filling them with excuses, it fills them with responsibility. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly in the late evening. Their phone rests on the table beside them. They stare at it for a long time, not because they don't know what they want to do, but because they finally understand what honesty will require. They know they cannot return with half-truths. They cannot hide behind vague explanations or comfortable excuses. If they ever speak, they want their words to reflect the person they have become rather than the fearful version of themselves that remained silent for so many years. That realization creates both nervousness and peace. Nervousness because vulnerability is unfamiliar. Peace because authenticity finally feels stronger than fear. This message is for you. Continue protecting everything your healing has built. Continue honoring your boundaries. Continue believing that your heart deserves consistency, kindness, and emotional honesty. If someone enters your life again, let them meet the version of you who understands that love grows strongest where trust, accountability, and mutual effort exist together. Never abandon those truths. They were earned through every difficult season you survived. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The hidden truth is no longer simply waiting to be spoken. It is quietly transforming into action. Reflection has become acceptance. Acceptance has become humility. Humility has become courage. Every lesson has prepared your soulmate to stop hiding behind yesterday and begin living with greater honesty tomorrow. They now understand that the greatest risk is no longer speaking the truth. The greatest risk is allowing another year to pass while carrying words that were always meant to be shared. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. Keep walking confidently toward the future that is unfolding before you. Keep trusting the wisdom your own journey has given you. The silence that once defined this story is beginning to lose its power. One heart has learned how to heal. The other has learned how to be honest. And in the final chapter, those two journeys will reach their emotional crossroads, where the truth hidden for years becomes impossible to contain, and the courage to finally reveal it begins changing both lives forever. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The truth your soulmate has carried for years has reached the point where it is no longer just a memory hidden inside their heart. It has become the direction their heart keeps pointing toward no matter how hard they try to look somewhere else. Every lesson life has given them has quietly led them back to the same realization. They can no longer pretend that silence created peace. They can no longer convince themselves that waiting for the perfect time was wisdom. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There comes a moment when the soul realizes that the greatest burden is not rejection, disappointment, or uncertainty. The greatest burden is carrying words that should have been spoken years ago. Your soulmate has reached that moment. For so long, they believed they could simply accept the past and continue building a future without ever confronting what truly happened inside their own heart. They believed time alone would heal everything. But time does not heal what honesty continues avoiding. Time simply reveals which emotions were genuine enough to survive every distraction. As the seasons changed, so did they. Their priorities shifted. Their understanding of love matured. The dreams they once chased began looking different. The people around them changed. Yet one thing remained remarkably constant. Whenever they imagined what emotional peace truly felt like, your presence quietly appeared in their thoughts. Not because they were trapped in yesterday, but because your connection had quietly become the standard by which they measured authenticity. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been discovering these truths, your own heart has continued becoming stronger in ways you may not fully recognize. Think about the promises you made to yourself during your hardest days. You promised never to lose yourself trying to save a relationship again. You promised to trust actions more than empty words. You promised to believe your intuition even when your emotions felt uncertain. Those promises changed your life. They helped you rebuild confidence one ordinary day at a time. Today you stand in a place where your peace no longer depends on someone else's choices. That is one of the greatest victories your journey has ever given you. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has never been working against either of you. It has been working within both of you. While you were learning self-respect, your soulmate was learning accountability. While you discovered how to heal without every answer, they discovered that avoiding truth never creates freedom. Every difficult chapter has quietly become a teacher. Every disappointment has become wisdom. Every unanswered question has prepared two hearts for deeper emotional understanding than either possessed before. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun replaying one particular memory more than any other. It is not a dramatic farewell. It is not an emotional argument. It is one quiet moment where you simply sat together, talking about dreams, laughing over something small, and existing without pressure. Looking back, they realize they have spent years searching for that same feeling in different places, only to discover that genuine emotional safety cannot be manufactured. It is created through trust, acceptance, patience, and the freedom to be completely yourself. Those were gifts you offered naturally, and only after losing them did they recognize how extraordinary they truly were. This message is for you. Perhaps you've continued seeing small reminders throughout your own days. Maybe 111 appears whenever you're stepping into a fresh beginning. Maybe 222 gently reminds you that patience is still part of your journey. Perhaps 444 appears when reassurance quietly finds your heart during uncertain moments. Whether you understand those moments spiritually or simply as meaningful encouragement, allow them to remind you that every season has purpose. Nothing you survived was meaningless. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has finally stopped asking whether speaking the truth will feel uncomfortable. They have begun asking a much deeper question. Who do I become if I continue hiding from my own heart? That question has changed everything. Every old excuse sounds weaker than it once did. Every reason for remaining silent feels smaller than the cost of carrying another year of regret. They now understand that courage does not arrive after fear disappears. Courage arrives when truth becomes more important than fear. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly beneath the evening sky. The world around them continues exactly as always, yet inside everything feels different. They think about the younger version of themselves who believed vulnerability was weakness. They think about every opportunity they allowed to pass because uncertainty felt safer than honesty. Instead of criticizing that version of themselves, they quietly forgive them. Then they make a promise. They promise that fear will no longer decide the direction of their future. They promise that if life offers another opportunity to live honestly, they will not waste it protecting old habits. This message is for you. Continue honoring your own healing. Continue protecting the life you have worked so hard to build. Continue believing that your heart deserves relationships where honesty is normal, respect is consistent, and effort is mutual. Never lower those standards simply because someone else's awakening has finally begun. Your growth matters just as much as theirs. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The truth your soulmate has hidden for years is no longer waiting quietly inside them. It is becoming the foundation for every important choice they make. Reflection has become wisdom. Wisdom has become humility. Humility has become courage. Courage is slowly becoming action. The person who once believed silence was the safest path is beginning to understand that honesty is the only path capable of bringing genuine peace. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Keep trusting the journey that has shaped you into the person you are today. Keep believing that every difficult season strengthened your spirit instead of breaking it. The story is no longer about what remained hidden. It is about what has finally awakened. One heart has learned how to heal. The other has learned how to tell the truth. And as this chapter comes to a close, only one step remains. In the final chapter, the years of silence will finally reach their breaking point, and the truth your soulmate has carried for so long will become stronger than every fear that once kept it hidden, opening the door to a future neither of you could have imagined when this journey first began.